That would have been bad. Nancy, it's great to meet you. I'm glad I hit record.
Yes, nice to meet you too.
So before we get into your latest album, Through the Passages, I want to know, we're looking at the calendar 4 years ago in April, everything stopped. We
Yeah.
went through a global pandemic. We're here, and I'm curious how you survived it and how it changed you as a musician and as a person.
Well, I'm a teacher too.
Yeah.
So besides being a performer, I teach and I teach choir. So teaching choir on the internet
Wow.
is
Yeah.
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
So gosh, I learned a lot. Um, I learned a lot about how to connect in a different way with my students and also with myself. um, I had to, like with my students, they would be on my screen and most of them had a black screen. They didn't turn it on.
Yeah.
A few of them would turn it on. And then I would sing their parts and then hope they were singing with me.
Yeah.
And we would, I did concerts where they were recording themselves and then I hired an editor and we'd edit it all together and make, a performance out of one song, and it took forever.
Yeah, I bet.
So that was really burdensome and kind of tough on the kids. But for myself, it was really scary, and it did inspire some songwriting. I wrote a song called Feel Your Touch when I first thought about how I couldn't touch my children. Like my kids they're adults and they don't live with me. And it really bothered me.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I took advantage of all that time that we had because a lot of it was just kind of a weird blur. And I don't know if that's true for a lot of people, but
It
it all
was.
kind of ran together.
Mm-hmm.
But I did write a few songs during COVID that were inspired by that time, and yeah, it did kind of help me and probably a lot of folks kind of decide what was important in life.
So was that the culmination of this latest album?
Part of the song, a few of the songs
Yeah.
are there's a song called, well, TikTok, which I just released as a single already.
Yeah.
And that was kind of through not only the pandemic but also the political climate and just how stressful everything was. And so that one was definitely during COVID. Trying to think, The Lighthouse. We watched the movie The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
And that one inspired, I just wrote lyrics based on that movie, which is all about isolation and going crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
I'm hoping that they connect, that they, these are stories. Each song is kind of its own little story, and I hope that they connect with at least one or two of the songs, because they are stories about life that are universal. And I hope that they find, if they don't find connection with the story, that they find escape. That music is just a really good way to kind of get away from your daily worries too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So how did this journey into the music, into jazz, singing, how did all this begin for you?
Um, well, I sang ever since I was a little wee one. I couldn't even speak, and I was singing, according to
Yeah.
my mother. But jazz started in school for me, which is part of why I became a teacher, was because I wanted to give back to the public schools. And I took the jazz choirs all the way through middle school and high school and into college. And I studied under Frank DeMiero, who's a vocal jazz kind of icon on the West Coast. And just really kind of realized that that's where my vocal register fit for myself personally. I'm not a pop singer and don't pretend to be one.
Yeah.
And I just love the freedom of jazz, and I love, I wanted to be able to do a song differently every time and not have to be so structured.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of picked up on it. Was really when I dug into it was in college, when
Yeah.
I started listening to the older artists and realizing how cool it actually was.
Yeah. So what was the first live jazz show you saw that blew you away?
Um, well, I saw quite a few in my early years. Like I saw Mel Torme,
Wow.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
And I saw my college choir went to the North Sea Jazz Festival and the Montreux Jazz Festival, and so I got to see Woody Herman and Dizzy Gillespie together,
Yeah.
which was incredible. And I saw Ella Fitzgerald. That didn't blow me away. She was older
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that time, but it kind of was really cool to see her, even though she was older. I actually got to meet her. I stood backstage and got her autograph.
Nice. Very
So that was
nice.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, has there been a stage that you've always dreamed you played on and you actually finally got a chance to be on it and it just was like, wow, I can't believe this is happening?
Um, well, there are still some goals,
Yeah,
but
right.
I did get to sing at just locally at Jazz Alley in
Yeah.
Seattle, which that was a goal for quite a while, and so that was very cool. Um, and then also I won this contest here in Seattle, the Seattle Kobe female jazz vocalist competition, and I got flown to Kobe, Japan, and got to perform at Asahi Hall in Kobe, which I'd never heard of before, so it wasn't something I'd aspired to,
Yeah.
but so cool because they also had these, professional cameras on you. It felt like you were, like really doing this thing.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So, what do you like the best about being a professional musician?
Um, I like the collaboration. I like, working with other people who are of like mind and creating something new. Like, I love working with my co-writers from my album, um, because you have an idea of how a song, when you're writing a song, it's going to be this, and then they bring what they've got, and it becomes this other thing. And I love it because it can be really magical.
Yeah.
And doing jazz, even if you're doing a standard, depending on who you have with you, it becomes a different thing every time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the biggest thing uh, for me, working with others. And then as far as connecting with an audience, I really love the moments when everything clicks and the audience is with you and we're all together, and it's just there's a moment that's kind of undefinable
Yeah.
that other musicians probably relate to, that's just like, whoa, that what just happened? We were all there,
Yeah.
and they were with us, and I don't know. It's just it's a weird little drive that we all have to get that moment.
Yeah. So, on this day, the very day of International Jazz Day 2024, why do
Mm.
you love jazz?
Well, I've named a few things about it
You have,
already that I
yes.
love, but yeah, just the improvisational aspect of it, I love. I love the history of it. Um, I love the relatability of jazz, and it kind of crosses. There's so many aspects of jazz that cross over into. I mean, jazz is the root of music that has come after.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
So, do you have any shows planned, anything coming up to promote the album, or as the warm months come out that people can catch you live?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be on KNKX on the local radio station,
Yeah.
doing a studio session on May 10th, which is the day that the album releases.
Okay.
And then on May 25th, I'm going to be at the Wanda Fuca Festival or Music Festival. And I'm at noon on the 25th. And then June 7th is my actual release for my album. And that's going to be local here in Seattle at Egan's Ballard Jam House.
Excellent. Nancy, thank you. Thank you so much for opening up about the album and your life and music. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice to meet you so much.
Yeah. Nice.
Hey, jazz fans, Joe DeMiero here, the host of the weekly Neon Jazz radio show and regular interview series being produced and distributed from Lee Summit, Missouri. We are quite excited to let you know about the first annual Lee Summit Jazz Fest taking place this summer on June 22nd, 2024 at the Bridge Space located at 210 Southwest Market Street. There will be 8 robust acts, including the Back Alley Brass Band and the great Lee Summit Jazz Orchestra. There will also be art vendors and food trucks to make this a must-attend event. All details can be found at www.bridgespace.us/jazz. We will see you there.